are y'all gonna release this palette today, sis? Like, what's good? And they said, oh no, the palette won't be released today, and it will be restocked in the near future. No apology. What's going on, YouTube? I'm back, y'all. It's your girl AJ, and you know, we're back. Back at it again with the back at it again, you know. Thank you for coming back to the channel, kicking it with your girl. And today's video is going to be on these eyeshadow palettes that have just you know, caused everyone to flip their show. These two palettes were recently released by two different companies, and the shades, they are similar, but they're not similar, but they are. So let's get into the video. But before we start, you know, you should have already liked the video. You should have already subscribed, and now we can keep it moving. I decided to go ahead and do a video about the Sunset palette and the Naked Heat palette, just because the colors are similar. You know, they're those warm orangey, goldish, bronzy browns, you know, with the, you know, hint of this or that. And wanted to tell you if I thought that the Natasha Denona one is worth the $129 that the palette cost, or is it not, or is the Naked palette worth the $54? Because the Naked palettes have gone up, guys. The $54 that they're now charging for the Naked Heat palette. Let's start with the Naked palette, since that's what's in my hand. And I love the packaging, you know, with the matches and the outer sleeve. Now, the only thing about this outer sleeve and, you know, this whole component, like the palette sits in this and then everything sits in the sleeve, and it actually comes with tape, you know, keeping it shut on either end, just a little piece of tape. So I thought that that was just part of the packaging, and I took both of those little pieces of tape off. No, sis, don't take both of them off. Only take one off, and use that other piece of tape to secure your palette in the sleeve. Okay. So anyway, this is the Naked Heat palette by Urban Decay. So of course, here, you know, they all come with a brush. So here you go. You know, you got a blender and what I want to call this. It's a longer shader, but it's a flat shader. So I guess, you know, you can turn it, maneuver it any way that you want. And here is the palette. Okay, so the colors are, let me try not to blind you. The colors are Quince, or Ounce, Chaser, Sauced, Low Blow, Lumbre, He Devil, Dirty Talk, Scorched, y'all see them? Scorched, Cayenne, En Fuego, Ashes, and Ember is the last color and the deepest. So those are all the shades. So it looks like there are How many mattes? Okay, that's a shimmer. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mattes. Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 mattes in the palette, and the rest are, you know, shimmers. So the other 5 remaining shades are shimmers, including the ounce color. Okay, I have not used the ounce color, so that's why I did not know if that was a shimmer or a matte. But it's very pretty. It's a cream. You're not gonna be able to see it from here, but I just swatched it on my hand. It's a cream with a gold sheen to it. So that's nice, you know, to put in, you know, the little, you know, right here under the brow. And pretty much these shadows, y'all, they blend as, you know, other Urban Decay Naked palettes blend, in my opinion. You know, they maneuver well. Like, the performance is nothing outstanding. If you know the formula for Urban Decay's Naked palettes, it's nothing outstanding. Like, it's not like my socks were blown off, you know, by purchasing this palette. You know, let's be clear. The palette was purchased because I love these colors. Okay, these warm, very, very warm neutrals with, you know, reddish undertones and gold, and this is my jam, like these colors. So that's why the palette was purchased. You know, there are a few standouts in the palette. Definitely Lumbre, and that is gonna be that color right there, right here. Okay, she's a star, sis. Okay, Lumbre. And then I would say a lot of people like Scorched and Ember, which are those more reddish tone neutrals, and you know, they're good eyeshadows. Like, nothing outstanding or out of the box for Urban Decay, but I was excited to see that they stepped out of the typical color palette for the Naked range. So that's what made me purchase this, because actually all of my Naked palettes I have given away. I have owned all of the Naked palettes that look like this. Do I think it's worth the $54? It depends on the person. Like, if you have the $54 to spend, and you're a makeup enthusiast, and you know, this might just be added to your collection, then why not? Go ahead. Now, don't buy it if you're not going to get any use out of it. I bought this because these are my colors, but if I had seen colors that looked like Naked 1, 2, or 3, sis, it would have stayed in the store. Okay, because I have enough neutral eyeshadow palettes. I don't need another one. I need one like I need a hole in the head, so I don't need it. Okay, now I can see the hesitation with this sucker here. This Natasha Denona Sunset palette. Okay, this palette, y'all, let me tell you something about Natasha Denona and her shadows. They're amazing. They're amazing. Okay, so that's what the palette looks like. Top row, starting here, Atmosphere, then Sinai, then Ice Gold, then Mandarin, and Bronze Age. Second row is Volcano, not Volcano, Volcano, Abade, Horizon, Sundays, and Terra. Okay. And last row is going to be Bermuda, Morgana, Pangene, Ingenuous, and Soul. Obviously the yellow. So those are the 15 shades in the Natasha Denona palette. Now, one thing I will give Natasha Denona, her shadows, y'all, her formula on her shadows is beautiful, okay? Her mattes are everything. Like, and I believe that palette was more expensive than this one was because that one has more shades. So I want to say that one is like a 15 color palette. And if I remember, I'll take a picture of my palette and insert it. That palette is the Star palette. And I want to say it had 15 or 16 shades. And I want to say it was $169 for that palette. Okay, but when I say those mattes are beautiful, when I say those shimmers are gorgeous. Now the only thing, there are a few glitter shades in that Star palette that the glitter gets on everything. Like, do your eyes before your faces, because you know, if you use one of those glitters, it's gonna be on your face. It is what it is. But you know, use a sticky primer when you're doing your eyes. And I didn't even use primer on my eyes, but I did use this palette. Did I use this palette? Yes, I used this palette. I didn't use the Heat. I used this one. I didn't use a primer, and I should have. I wish that the colors would have come up more dramatic and pronounced, especially the Soul shade, the yellow. But I knew better than that. Like, clearly I knew I needed a primer. So I just used it. That was my first shade I put down. I just used it to put a little yellowish hint to the eye. But her shadows are some of the best, I would say, on the market right now. These shadows and like the Viseart shadows. Who else has really amazing eyeshadows? Y'all who gets slept on for real. And I have a like 40 pan palette of this company, and if y'all want to see that video, I will do it about these eyeshadows because they're amazing. And they are the ink blot eyeshadows. Amazing. I think my ink blot palette are the best shadows that I own, hands down, point blank. That's it. You know, cut the camera off, shut the lights off, and go home. Like, the best shadows on the market are ink blot right now, hands down. But after ink blot, it may be Natasha Denona, or it may be Viseart. But I would put maybe those three in my top three in terms of eyeshadow quality. So you can travel with both palettes. You know, if you just need something quick and you only want to take one palette because, you know, it's just like a few nights, then you could totally get away with just taking, you know, your Naked Heat and going. So for a good 3-4 days, this would be all you needed in terms of eyeshadows. I mean, the same thing goes here. No, No, because I had to use one of my face powders as my skin tone kind of base shade. So this doesn't have that same capability in terms of just one palette, you know, for 3-4 days. Well, not for a makeup enthusiast. Like, if you really don't have a lot of makeup and you don't need all those options, then yeah, of course you can make anything work. But would I buy it again? Probably. Just based on the shades. Again, these warm neutral palettes have the key to my heart right now. And when they restock that ColourPop palette, I'm probably gonna, no, not probably, I'm gonna buy that one too. Why? Because it's $16, and ColourPop is an amazing affordable brand whose products work extremely well. And definitely for that price, $16, yes, I'm definitely buying the palette when it restocks. Okay, so I will have 3 palettes, 4, because I have the 35O palette from Morphe. They're all in the same vein, but again, I'm a makeup enthusiast, so clearly I have a lot of stuff that I don't need. You know, I don't need those 100 highlighters that I have either, but you know, it is what it is. So that's my comparison. So I don't know if that is going to help you eliminate, you know, one over the other if you're on the fence, but I don't really see how anyone would be on the fence in terms of these 2 palettes because the price is so vastly different, so astronomically different, that price doesn't matter. Let me go ahead and wrap this up and go ahead and like the video, subscribe if you haven't, share the video, and y'all, once again, I got this 1,000 subscriber giveaway, so go ahead and, you know, share the video to your cousin and them, and, you know, help me get to 1,000 and we can get this giveaway popping. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.